The water heater's cranked just on. It's about to thunderstorm outside. Great way to start a video, huh? Today's video, we're gonna work on the FZ-07. I'm sure a lot of you want to see the XR reveal riding video. And that should be coming soon. I'll explain that in a video soon where it is and what's going on with it. It's coming back. It's not gone forever. We'll explain that soon enough. Unless, of course, you're a Patreon and you already know what's going on because I can make a video explaining it. In case you missed that one, you should go back and watch it if you want the full details. But the quick sum up of that is the Electron carb just wasn't working quite right. They sent me several other carbs trying to get it to work right. So my brother had to go down to San Antonio for business. He took the entire bike with him. Hopefully they'll figure it out and hopefully they'll learn something so other people won't have the same problem. Because I know there's people with the 4-strokes right now that are having the same problem I was having. Anyways, a number of y'all have been asking for some sort of tune-up or maintenance video on the FZ-07. It might actually only be like 1 or 2 people, but they're very persistent with their comments. So it seems like maybe a lot of people are asking for it. Or maybe some people, I don't know. We're gonna do it anyway. Sometimes I feel like on YouTube and someone's like, I was getting a lot of hate, people have been mean to me. Probably was just like 2 people and they were just really consistent with it.
I got Earls up there and clean filters and I even have some gauges coming in the mail. Sync the throttle bodies, that'll be fun.
The only major thing we're not doing is we're not doing the valves. I'm not gonna adjust the valves because we're just not there in time. I was thinking about maybe just going through the steps anyway. But honestly, that needs to be its whole dedicated video if I really want to do that. And it's kind of one of those jobs that even if I were to make a tutorial, I would highly advise you to have somebody there who's done it before. Especially on a bike like this where you have to actually pull the cams out and you can't just willy-nilly rip those out either, you'll break them in half. They have to be staged out. There's a whole procedure with that, so maybe another time. I got almost all the parts here that I need. There's a few more parts that are coming in the mail. They'll show up on, I believe most of them will show up on Tuesday or something, which will actually be pretty interesting because let's see, today is Saturday. Monday, my wife has a scheduled C-section. If you didn't know, my wife is pregnant, and if you didn't know, she had a C-section her first time because it was an emergency. Every time I've mentioned my wife had a C-section, I always feel like I get at least 1 or 2 random comments from people that are like, shouldn't do a C-section, bro. Vaginal birth is the best. Dude, it was an emergency C-section, and once you've had 1 C-section, they want to keep having it. Just calm down, you fucking want to be OGBYN TWPs or whatever the fuck it's called. Shut the fuck up. So I'll have my second kid by the time this video ends. For you, it'll all just be 1 video. But I will become a father of 2 by the end of this video. Speaking of the wife though, I feel like if you've been watching a number of my videos, you're kind of aware of this sound. And that's this chair. I've had this chair for like a flippin' decade. Literally the first day I got it, the whole thing got cracked because a guy I worked with in the shop put his knee in it. He didn't realize it's just like a piece of wood under here. So that's why there's a piece of like strap under here. It's actually broken here and here. Look, honestly, I can't even complain. It's more than served its purpose. But Father's Day, my wife got me a new shop chair. Let's have one last farewell. All right, let's get the new one. Oh man, here we are on the first ride of the new shop chair. It seats really well. It's so smooth. It's almost like it's brand new or something. And my old chair wasn't, you know? What an interesting observation. Oh shit, ow. First places I want to start with all the fluids and stuff is actually up here with the radiator. Jug here of engine ice, always good stuff. Pre-mixed, so you're buying some water. That used to really bother people when these pre-mixes first came out, but they're really cheap, so who cares? Anyways. Typically one of the bolts that holds the water pump in will be the bolt you drain it from. But Yamaha was nice enough to put this little guy aiming straight down. Nothing. There it goes. My neighbors are trying to mow in a rainstorm. That's why we have the cardboard. Now I'm gonna quickly fire the bike up and we'll see it should drop down a little bit. So what I'll do is the first time we actually run it, let it get up to temperature, which I'm actually gonna do here in just a second to change the oil. After it runs and cools all the way back down, first time we'll check it again, and there's a chance that it might have dropped, you know, maybe like an inch or so. Found another random bubble or two in there. Here's the coolant from a few weeks ago where I filled the XR650R up and the FZ-07 right here. So it's just I thought it's just kind of neat to see here and look at them and see that they're almost the same. With the oversized radiators, I guess the XR took just a little bit more coolant. Normally I wouldn't have opened both of them at the same time, like I would have finished this one off, but I was just curious to see that. And these are close enough in age that I'm not worried about mixing them back together. A lot of people want to fill these filters up before they stick them on, and that's not a bad idea. Just with a bike like this though, if we try to do that, we're just going to dump a whole lot of it out. So if you can do it, sure, go for it. If you can't, don't sweat it, it's fine. Hand tight's good for that. I'm gonna go with some of this Yamaha full synthetic, whatever, it's what they had at the store. Normally I like to go with the Ames oil stuff. I tried that out. It's made the bikes run a lot cooler, I noticed, and it seemed like it just lasts forever. Well, all these synthetics will last a pretty long time, but I thought that stuff was really good. But unfortunately, like Ames oil is like, you gotta have it through a dealer network or some weird stuff. So if the local store doesn't carry anymore, I guess you have to call some guy, I don't know. It's obnoxious, it's too obnoxious. So we just bought this. It's $15.50, might be a little heavy. But again, it's what they had at the store. It was out there like $10.30. It's fine, it's summertime, it's plenty hot. I always let my bike warm up, so. Got 2 quarts in, it's all the way filled up. I know it takes a little more than that, so I'm gonna fire it up, let it run through the system, then we'll see where it settles at. Not in the window at all, so let's add some more. Hold it upright. See, it's still a little low. There we go, that's looking nice. I pulled the seat off, all this plastic work off, tank so I can get to the air filter, the spark plugs. I can remember one time in the comments, y'all gave me a really hard time for reusing the same footage of me taking all this body panels off. The funny thing about that was y'all caught it the one time. I did that multiple times. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Yeah, still got it. Official tank propping up tool. Let's go ahead and pull this air filter off so we can clean that and let that start drying. Look at that, that's exactly what you want to see. Super clean down inside there. You know, this is the DNA, it's similar like the K&Ns. These style filters, to clean them, we gotta get the oil that's around the filter sort of loose and broken up so that the dirt can rinse out of it. I mean, that's how these filters work. They're like a metal mesh. I think it's like cotton or something in the middle. Yes, it's K&N brand. You know, it's fine. It's the same stuff, basically. I don't have the DNA cleaner here, but basically we just want to coat this thing all down. Like I said, I'll let that sit for like, whatever, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna come back and rinse it with cold water. And you want to rinse it from like the clean side out. All the air came in through this hole in the middle and it had to come through here. So what you want to do when you rinse it is run water, just tap water, through it to push anything back out. And they always say you want to let these things sit and really like dry out naturally. So I'm probably gonna call it a day after this, go inside and have some food, see what the wife needs, and pick that up tomorrow, let it naturally dry out. When I worked in shops though, people would bring these in and they need them done right then and there. Heat gun on one side and a shop vac on the other and just try to dry them out. I don't know if that was great for them, that's what they told us to do, because people can't wait, you know, a half a day for this thing to naturally dry. Right, next day, and our filter's looking nice and dry now. Ran it under the sink, a lot of good black junk fell out of it, which is good, which you want to see. And you can see now too, and these things are like unoiled. The K&N's the same way. It's kind of a whitish gray look. The color that you see from it is from the oil itself. And that's what we need to do now, is we need to oil it. The oil is really important. The oil is really what helps it filter properly. If you just threw it in there dry, it's, I'm not sure if it stops some big dirt and stuff from going through, but the oil is really what's helped kind of grabs the dirt, the power to filter the air. I don't know. Work a little line of it down the pleats here. It'll look a little messy at first, but this stuff will kind of soak in. You see, it's not perfect, right? But we'll come back to it. And you see, it'll sort of spread itself pretty good here. Here, it's just set for a few minutes here, and you can see it's just sort of whips what a candle does. It pulls that fluid kind of all through pretty well, because you'll see a few spots that might need a little touch up, maybe like right there or something. But we'll let this sit. I'll put maybe a dot or two right there, let it sit for a few more minutes, and it should be pretty good. Let's go ahead and pull the spark plugs out, throw some new ones in. I always thought this thing was running a little bit on the rich side, and looking at it here, it might be just a little on the lean side. The color that's right around the edge here is not bad. It's just right there on the tip. It's a little white. Honestly, a pretty similar color here. Could be a little on the lean side, just judging from the plug. For my new spark plug, I've just gone with what it came with OEM. It's an NGK plug. Unless you're doing some crazy engine mods, I really try not to mess with the plug or the gap or the heat or any of that stuff. Just kind of go with what it was designed for. That seems to always work best in my opinion. And let's check the coolant, since the engine's gotten a chance to get all the way hot and cold again. It's definitely burped out a little bubble in there. Only needed a splash more. The air filter is nice and oiled now, very consistent, looks good. This should be ready to go. I always talk about these plastic sort of sheet metal screws. You always want to spin them backwards until you feel them fall into the old notch. That way you're not cutting a new thread. There we go. Filter, the plugs, the oil coolant, all that's coming together pretty good. The only things left I have to do are all things that are coming still in the mail and not here yet, like some grips, the gauges to balance the throttle bodies, the chain spring. All that stuff is still waiting to come.